Hi, welcome back to my channel, Antoinette here, and it's time for November wrap-ups. Not a lot in the journal, so we'll start with the digital one quickly, because I know not all of you are into digital journaling, but here we go. Let's talk about the things that I did. So November is the month of our anniversary, so we had that, so we've been busy, took a week out for that. The stuff I continue to enjoy at the moment listening to on audios is the Pocket FM Alpha's Bride, my Slayer system, and I also listened to on audiobooks, I can't remember, something death, one I mentioned last month. Basically I mentioned it in October, so I'm still listening to that one, and one of the I don't know, Good to the Last Death series, one of the recent ones that's just been released. I don't know if it's book 13 or 14. It's only a 5-hour book, so it's quite expensive for 5 hours, considering that they repeat themselves. So half of the book is repetition, but it's still a great storyline nonetheless. So really, I'd say it's about 2 hours of storyline. Decks I played with, so the Matrix Oracle and the Boo Tarot, and then the rest I've got here. I think I played with a lot more than what I've pulled out, but I've just grabbed a few and we'll have a look at those. Had a lot of new things arrive, so I will show you the new haul at the end. We had TV wise, watching the Penny Dreadful series 1, watching the end of Neighbours, because that comes to an end apparently, permanent end this month, end of December as we sit, 2025. I watched a film called Locked. That was really good actually. It had the younger Scargill brother, the one that was in The Crow. I can't remember his name, but he's in it. And I don't want to give it away, but it's actually quite amusing. And it also has Anthony Hopkins as well, playing almost a Hannibal Lecter-esque type character, if you want, for a better word. Had a little bit of Saw vibes to it as well. Cinderella's Curse, that was very, very violent film. Now, I can't remember if I watched that on the 31st of October or if I watched it on the 1st or 2nd of November. So I can't recall if I already mentioned that one, but yeah. Started watching something called Moonies, Married to the Cult. I think I got about halfway through that, and then I kind of switched it off because it wasn't a film, it's a documentary, and it's a documentary based on a true cult in America, and some of the mindsets and the way that people were being brainwashed, I suppose, for want of a better word. I can't think of any other way to describe it, but to me it wasn't fascinating. It's just something that doesn't kind of attract, speak to me. Or I'm just blinkered and I can't see when things do. But yeah, you got the gist. I got the gist of what I needed to know in that first kind of half of what I was watching. I didn't need to watch the rest of it, basically. It was, you know, it wasn't what I needed to take my mind off like the seriousness of my day-to-day job, shall we say. I enjoyed Freakier Friday. That was actually quite good. It was a 3-way swap. So if you haven't seen that and you enjoyed Freaky Friday, definitely go watch the Freakier version. It was amusing. It had its funny parts, most definitely. And I started watching a series called Da Vinci's Demons. Love Da Vinci's Code and all that stuff. So I'm not going to miss out on this one. That was really interesting, really good. I don't know how many episodes I've watched so far, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I recommend that one. 1 second, my cooker's ready. Sorry, I'm kind of batch cooking, so things are going off at different times. I apologise for that. Yeah, and then what did I watch on YouTube? I watched a lot. I support a lot of channels. I mean, I don't have to follow everyone's channels. Some I just have listed and I'll watch. Some it's through the hashtags, and I'll watch a couple of other videos. But as my algorithm is so screwed up at the moment, I don't get any feeds through my algorithm. It's really, really irritating me. And it's because I refuse to have my history tracked due to the digital snooping that's going on in my country. That's the only reason I'm doing it for right now. Until I know that things aren't as bad as people say they are, I just can't afford to put myself at risk or harm's way of the PC police knocking on my door, shall we say. So unfortunately, it's kind of, it's ruining my joys. But in the same breath, I am looking and I'm supporting, and people do see me, and I always comment, give a like or hearts or emojis or something when I watch something. But the way people interact on YouTube is changing, isn't it? I think most of us have noticed that now. Many people don't even bother to let you know they've been by. So it's, yeah, we're starting to become like a scrolling page like TikTok. That's why I always liked YouTube, because I can't stand TikTok, Instagram, the Facebook stories, like the mindless scrolling. I like to watch the content for the information, not the mindless bits. But hey, it's a world that's changing. So yeah, and I also partook in, or am partaking, because I haven't finished, the Elemental Foundations hashtag from the Wild Witch. I've watched a few videos on Echoes of the Inner Child, which is a deck that I actually own, and Behind the Moon, and also Brushbone and Indigo Ash is named specifically because I watched a number of videos with them, including the one with Heather and Jonathan talking about crystals. So they got a little special shout out. November. So the cards I pulled for November, back along, way back along, is 45, Such a Curious Dream, Returning to Reality. We have Death, Death and Transformation, or, card 13 from Tarot. We have The End, and we have Building Blocks. So what an interesting set of cards. So what are my reflections on these now, looking back? Returning to reality. I don't think I've ever really lost reality, but I'm hoping the returning to reality is the world coming back to normal, because it's been a crazy ride. Absolutely crazy ride. So let's just hope people are getting their sanity back and actually returning to norms, taking away all this radicalization nonsense that's going on everywhere, and that we are just, coming back to some common sense around us and some basic human behavior of, respecting each other and just recognizing each other for humanity, not for labels or anything else. I think, I just really do see labels and stuff really divisively, but a human, to recognize another human, that's completely different. I think that's where we shall be at this point in time, recognizing humans. The End. Well, yeah, there we go. The end. The month has ended. And Building Blocks. What am I building? I suppose I'm building towards my future. Again, I'm still not getting around to doing my weekly elemental spreads. So we've got week 45 with the Gate. We have week 46 with the Rain, and it rained. Let me tell you, it rained. The Elemental Foundation spread, I've got videos on this, so you can look at the videos. I'm not going to talk about these in depth, but we had week 1 where we did the Earth element and how Earth element plays into my everyday life, and obviously most of my life is divination, so the Earth cards that I find. We have the week for Volcano, and we have the week 48 there. Now, what I did also do with these is Elemental Foundations. They're up here. So week 1, week 2 for the air, week 3 for fire, week 4 for water, still outstanding, and the harmonizing the elements is also outstanding. So this is what you'll see coming up, hopefully not too far away. Anything else I need to talk about for those? I don't think so, but I do want to mention, if I can find it, 1 second. I am starting a new practice, so I may or may not touch on this in parts of the upcoming year, or maybe even December. And it is the Touched by Death practice from Amethystascension, and it is available on her Patreon page at the low level tier if you wanted to join in. And there will be monthly things to do. So it's not a massive practice. There'll just be monthly things to do in there. And she has provided, if you're a Patreon member, you can get this journal for free. And all of these stars link to something. So you can press a star, you can write around the star, and then it will link you to a page. So if I did this one, it takes me to a page, and then I can write about whatever that particular practice is for that star, and then that one will take me back to my stars. So put my name in there. And the idea is that all of these stars will represent certain things and topics as we go through. And we have, so this one here, so there's a map and worksheet that's free for those of us in the Patreon group that we can utilize. And there's a whole bunch of questions and journaling and a prompt to do some activity at the bottom, which I plan to hopefully incorporate into that journal. I'm not sure if it'll be that journal yet, or if I might do this a different way. I'm still thinking about it. But I just figured if I want to add photos and things to the journals, the digital journal is the way forward for me rather than paper journal, because I don't print. I never have colour printing paper. We're terrible. So I don't print things off and put them in my journals. So, but this may be something where I want to have pictures. If I'm talking about, pets and stuff, I might want to put that in here. But if you go over to Rochelle Amethystascension's Patreon or her page, she's got a little video where she talks about this practice and invites you across to join in anyways. I think it's something ridiculously cheap, like a cup of coffee, £3.50 or something. So I'm looking forward to doing this year-long practice. I think it's going to help me with a few things as well. And I have the December magazine from the FlickeringCauldron. Yeah, so I have the December Chronicle from FlickeringCauldron. I haven't started reading it yet, but it's always worth mentioning because, again, these are like £3.50 as well from Etsy, and then you can download them anywhere in the world. Intro offer of £2.99, but through Etsy I think it's a slightly different price just because of the Etsy tax. I think we all know that. Excuse me, sorry. Oh, excuse me. I really need to edit that out, but I bet you I forget. The Magic of Yule covers December moon guide, so let's just have a quick look. Ancient Ode to December. There's a beautiful little ditty there for December. And from a contents perspective, we've got a little Hello to November, Path of the Archer, December birthstones, herbs and lavender, winter scrying, candle magic for winter nights. Oh, that sounds, who doesn't like to light a candle in the dark, in winter, in December? I definitely do. Hands up if you love it. Sacred seasonal scents. Oh, yes. Who doesn't enjoy a good old simmer pot this time of year as well? With the cranberries and the oranges and the cinnamon. Oh, yes. So there's a little welcome from the creators at the FlickeringCauldron. Hello, December. Oh, hang on. I think I was meant to say hello December, not hello November. I think I was meant to say hello December. As it says here. Path of the Archer for Sagittarius. Spiritual Witchcraft Guidance for Sagittarius. What else we got in here? Oh, yep, some lovely pine folklore. Pine has long symbolised resilience, immortality and purification in ancient northern Europe. Evergreen trees were sacred during the darkest months, representing life surviving the deep winter. Pine branches were hung in homes to ward off illness, misfortune, and wandering spirits during the Yuletide season. The scent of pine resin was believed to cleanse both the air and the soul. In folklore, pine groves were places of healing, renewal, and communion with protective forest spirits. And there's that little fire ritual you can do with the pine, isn't it, where you write your wishes or your grievances onto bits of paper, roll them up, and you pop them in between all of the fronds, I don't know what to call it, the bits that open on the pines. And you pop them on the fire. We have some cinnamon information. Myth and legend for the Holly King and the Oak King. That's always a great story to revive at this time of year. Ritual of the month, Yule Flame Blessing. Tarot card spread, Light in the Longest Night. Oh, it's coming up. 2 days away. That time of me filming here. In fact, it's the is it the full moon today or the new moon? I can't remember. You can tell I've not been following the moons, can't you? Just from that exact comment right there. I think it's a full moon tonight. Winter tonic recipes. Britain's enchanted landmarks. Guides to beasties. That will be the candle magic. Rituals for December. Got little poppets there and packets that you can make. Protective practices for the winter season. Food, oh yes please, and colouring page. Mind games, can you spot the difference? 12 differences in total. Sat here looking. Oh, I can see one definite. I can see one straight away, but I think it might take me a bit longer to spot all 12 with you. Breathe in the silence. We've got December riddle challenge. And some other games there to keep your mind occupied. Some festive spells and winter witchery with spices. Yes, please. Look at that. That looks delightful. That looks like a cinnamony, chocolatey orange goodness. And use a little bit of kitchen witchery to infuse it with some magic and some protection. Shadows and Whiskers. The story so far of Shadows and Whiskers. Oh, so that's an ongoing story in each. So each month you get more of the story. Fabulous. Chapter 3. Festive food with a spiritual twist. Recipes to nourish the body, mind and spirit. So many pages. Well, we're at 97 so far. And it's still going. Lesson 2. Obviously, I'm trying not to give too much away because you can pop in and read those. So what have we got here? 110 pages of information. And then some of the other publications. So there we have the November, October. I don't think I bought November. I'll go back and buy November now that I know that's an ongoing story to read. I've got October. And I have August's moon. I've got that moon guide. That one. I might even have that one actually. Looks familiar. So I might have those 3 and that one. Missed out that one and that one, so I might need to get those 2. But yeah, so that's the Flickering Cauldron's new publication. Oh, by the way, I'm using Penly is the app. I purchased the app Penly to use. You can use Noteshelf for free on this Samsung, but I use Penly for a lot of things. And in Penly, you just click that set of squares to navigate, and then you can page up and down quickly to the page numbers that you're wanting to get to in the magazine. So there we go, that's those. Let's get the Flickering Cauldron diary out because we are heading into time, aren't we? So we are into December. We are there we go. Let me just get you setting. Is that where we were a minute ago? Probably. We're about in shot, aren't we? So it's the moon diary, as you know, for November. Look, I think my worst month yet, to be quite frank with you. This is because off for the week. So starting with the Scorpio Witch. We have our zodiac sign for the wolf here, and they've got the reed. So we've got lots of information about the wolf. Then the beaver moon. That just makes me chuckle. That lovely little fully satisfied chubby beaver sat, you know, just enjoying life basically. Right, so I did have a learning from my cards. I had the Knight of Wands in the morning, and I've just put tally ho. Like you can't be responsible for everything. Give it back to the seniors to worry about, right? Because I knew that life was really busy and we were struggling, and there's lots going on, so mistakes are being made basically. However, I went ahead, I pressed the wrong button when I was reviewing an email that had been given to me before it goes out, and I started adjusting it, and instead of pressing the save button, I pressed the send button. So it sent the email without my adjustments to it. So I've just put here, action without thought, consequence. There was definitely a consequence, let me tell you, because that's a no-no. So yeah, that night of fire that day gave me a little warning kick up the backside. Elemental witch, fire. Interesting given that we're doing the elements, isn't it? So we have our micro new moon, and then yeah, we've got here. So quite some telling cards here. So I had the Page of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands. I've just put this is not a time to shrink away. And then time to breathe, help with the workload, uncertainty for next week, basically. So we had some, again, staff issues creating a lot of problems for the rest of us. But we got through it. You know, we worked as a team. We got through. Which is Money Bottle. Oh, that's a good one. And because I've not been around much, I haven't spent much time in this diary. So some of these pages, I'm just literally like, why didn't I do that? And then what do we have here? So the Orakulum Oracle has arrived. The Grimm's Tales have been moved back to January, which is really annoying me. Momento Mori Oracle, that's arrived. The mass market one, that is. And these I've had emails about, so they are kind of in process. And Oracle of Oddities. I'm not sure where that is, but there are emails. I think we're expecting it next year now. And Madame Wilhelmina's deck is now out on Kickstarter starting beginning of December. So I haven't got there. Right. What should we do? Should we do some new things first? Some new bits? Yes, why not? Crystals. So for the crystal lovers, I have had a wee splurge the last month and a half, and this one is a piece of blue opal, and I just love the bandings on this. I couldn't resist it. So what a gorgeous palm stone. Look at that. It's just very soothing. It's got that almost like, you know, blue lace agate sort of sense to it. It's beautiful. It's just so tactile and lovely, and you know, you just want to trace the circles for meditation. So we have blue opal. I have some rutile quartz, golden rutiles. I don't know how well these are going to show on camera, but can you see all the rutile in there? Oh. I always feel like saying it in an Australian accent. I have no idea why. So much rutile. It's like someone's locked strands of hair. You know, someone's been to the hairdresser's, had their hair trimmed, and they've just locked tufts of their hair into it. That's how these two feel to me, because the rutile is so focused and clumped together. I've never seen it like this before. I've just seen, you know, delicate gold strands throughout the crystal. But these are just, yeah. Hence the reason why I got two, because I couldn't make up my mind on which clump of hair or which locket of hair I wanted. So I got two to lock in. I have amethyst moon. I think this is rhodonite. I think it's just rhodonite. I don't believe it's rhodochrosite. Yep, so another heart. Reminds me of pig's jasper, really, because of all the black in it. Then I have absolutely no idea. I need to go back and find out what this is. Please do pop down below if you know, because look, we've got black, like almost like tourmaline or quartz in there. Definitely a burn in the bottom. Looks like a burn or iron. But for the most part, it's this weird pink with this strange like neon yellow. But it's a cat, isn't it? It's a little sleepy cat curled up. And this one is his wing broke. I've got his wing over here. It's an exceptionally clean break, so I might actually just stick him back together. Poor little kitty. But he's a little sleeping kitty. He's got his wings. I was going to gift this one to somebody who recently lost their cat. So we shall see what happens with that. Because when you force the wing back on, it sits quite nicely. It's just got to be gentle with it. And an obsidian skull with a snake on top. So those are my latest, newest crystals. Decks. Right. I happen to know that this was week 1. So I wasn't feeling the Mabon vibes. And then hit November. And I was. So just a card a day from these. 4 of Pentacles with cacao. You are loved, held, ready. You have everything and everything you seek. The 10 of Wands with the maple tree. There is a change coming that is big and it will shift all that exists. Hope so. Get rid of those 10s, eh? The fortune wheel. With Coven. I am you and you are me. When we come together, we are all that we seek. Knight of Wands with Scarecrow. Remember that you are not alone. Move with confidence as you are guided. Not too much confidence though. Ace of Air. Queen of the Dead. Fear not the rage of fire living within, for it is the power of your fierceness waiting to taste you fully. Oof. 10 of Swords with shape-shifting. Transformation is not the loss of what once was, it is the evolution of a more powerful self. Then we've got the Hanged One with Harvest Moon. Slow your heart and move gently into the coming of self. So those ones went beautifully together. What do you think? And if you've got this deck yet, somebody asked me about the cardstock. I have noticed now it's starting to curve slightly, and I'm not convinced it's got a core anymore because of that curve. And when I tried to bend it back that way, it looked like it's going to take up the bend the other way as well. So I don't think the cardstock has changed if you're still around and watching, in answer to your question about this when I first got it. So we have those. I think I used, actually I did, I used this with, I had this one out as well for a bit. So I had the Ritual Kitchen out for a bit as well. Let's just pop that back down. I started changing my decks weekly rather than having them for the month. Star with Mountain Cabin, so I'll just quickly do these because I only did like 3 pulls I think this week. There we go. So it just gives you a little something to look at there. And then basically I'd had my fill of Mabon. I'll need that for another practice in a minute. I also was using the Quiet Rebels tarot. It's just a great deck. It's just so funny. And with this one, I was using the Matrix deck from Amethystascension. So the end game with harmonious nurturing, and there's a book that goes with this. The Nest Maker, Victory and Peace. The Tide Turner with Oathbreaker. Edge of Mayhem and Past Life. The Pioneer with Akashic Records. Sharpshooter and Queen of Swords. Did I say? Yeah, Sharpshooter, sorry, and Gateway. The Heart Opener with Resourcefulness. I think they go quite well. Rising Star, Supportive and Intuitive. Let Down, Time Traveller. Overload with Ritualistic. Panic Button with the Zenith. Turning Point and Intuition. And Reality Dropout with Judgment. I think they went really well. What do you think? So that's those decks, which I was doing on my dailies. So I also had the Make Playing Cards decks out for November, because they didn't quite arrive in time for the end of October. But so I have the Dreadful Oracle from Eries Witchcraft, and I have the Gothic Skeleton Tarot from Amethystascension's pages. You can go to their pages and you can find their information. So we have the Healer with 4 of Wands. The Omen or Warning with 4 of Swords. Widow and Grief with Queen of Cups. The Magistrate of Justice with Page of Swords. Yep. Feyfolk Deception with Knight of Cups. Somebody's not quite telling the truth of their heart. Hellish Familiars, Hysteria, and the Devil. Impulse, the Great Beast with the Chariot. Legacy, Honouring Death with Ace of Pentacles. Dorian Gray, that's his name. Anyone who watched me struggle to get his name out in the last video. The Witch with Spiritual Shifts and the Tower. Nothing's going to shift more than a tower, is it, coming down? The Incubus, Temptation and Judgment. The Dolly, Loneliness with 8 of Wands. Sacred Ground, Tradition and the Lovers. Orphan Abandonment with Queen of Wands. The Martyr, Judgmental, 10 of Wands. Mysterious Lady, Identity and 2 of Cups. And we have the Beggar with Generosity and Page of Wands. That's the end of my daily card pulls here. So I'm just going to move on quickly to the practice. Okay, so I was also doing the Weaver's Enchanted Library, which I started doing in September this year. And these are the decks I use for that. So I'm not going to, because I don't have permission to give away any of the information in the Weaver's Library. However, I can show you the decks I've used. So I had the Rituals Kitchen from the YouTube channel, The Ritual Kitchen. I think it's Laura. I can't remember off the top of my head now. This is a Kickstarter deck that I've got, and I've got the book to go with it, which has lots of recipes in it. The Matrix deck from Amethystascension. The Moon Shadow Floral Vow Tarot. This is the mini version because the large version wasn't available at the time that I went to order. So I have that one. The Cracked Amethyst this year came in on Kickstarter. And Momento Mori, the Lenormand Oracle Memento Mori version. So this is kind of how it looked a little bit while it was on my desk. So I'm not going to spend too much time trying to tell stories with this, but really just so you can see how they look together. Because it's a lot, isn't it? There's a lot to take in here. Now I'm going to get myself in the right old puddle. I'll just do that a second. In fact, let me do this. It'll probably make a lot more sense. In fact, I should have done that while I wasn't bothering you on screen. Okay. Right, let's keep going. Just to give you an idea, a little taste of how they played and looked together. I'm really enjoying the dark vibes on this one. I love this a lot, and this color here just kind of tied these together for me really nicely. And of course, because this one is peopleless, there's not so much in this one, so it was a nice place, time, space, place kind of deck to play with. So yeah, this was this month of November's Enchanted Library story here. I think it was Goldilocks and Three Bears, I think. You know, just right, too hot, too cold, just right. So there we go. That's the decks I've used for the Enchanted Library practice. Okay, so this deck arrived at the end of, or in October, but the book has only recently arrived. Totally lost my train of thought because there was a parcel at the door for my neighbour. I tried to get them before Marjorie tried to kill him. Okay, so yes, so the book has arrived. I am not into the book yet. I use it occasionally. However, let's just talk about the deck because I got it in the pocket size, as you can see. So it's matrix decks from Amethystascension, Make Playing Cards. It has Chaldean and Pythagorean numerology in it, if you want to know about that. And that's the Book of Secrets code, and here is the book. So interestingly, I was using this the other day, and I can't remember what the question was I asked the cards, but it was my daily pulls. So I pulled my daily card, and then I can probably show you here. So it was actually December, so giveaway, I'm using it in December. I had the student card, the Fool, come out basically, and I knew that I had to do teaching with students that day. So that's what I put down with the Fool. So it's a new person, somebody, you know, jumping in. And that was how I felt that it related. So then I just asked, you know, is there anything else I need to know? And these came out. So I've got DBA, and it is Divination Boundary Ancestor. And then I went to work and I left them on my desk. And I came back, and it was the next day, Tuesday, when I looked down at my desk and realised that staring back up at me are my colours for my branding for when I used to make jewellery, and DBA is part of my brand name. So I haven't put them back in the deck. I've kept them out because I'm wondering if I'm being told something about my jewellery. Am I meant to be doing something? Do I need to be looking back into it? Yeah, it just feels like it's meant to be, because the colours, the white and the blue are the colours that I use. That's my branding colours. And the butterflies obviously for transformation, which is why I picked this deck out of all of the different versions that she has. But yeah, this just feels like it's meant to be something, so I've kept it. The deck is made up of multiple numbers, and the letters, multiple numbers. It's, you know, numbers 0 to 9, and we have letters A to Z, and you have 2 blank cards. One is Ascension. I can't remember what the other one is. We'll see if we pass it. There it is, the matrix. And you have duplicates, so you have 2 letters of each, and they have different meanings. So you have K for kindred, and then we have K for karma. So and same with the numbers, duplicate numbers for the same thing. So there's a lot of cards in the deck, and Rochelle has a lovely walkthrough of this, and I don't think I need to go through the whole deck with you because, you know, an A to Z is an A to Z. The keywords are part of what makes this, and then the rest of the secret is in the book, with the journaling prompts, spread prompts, suggestions, and other ways of looking at these words. And also there are different spreads in the book as well that aren't anywhere else. So the spreads are unique to the book. So you won't always find them in the spreads deck. I love a spreads deck. So I got the book to match my deck, and she has worked really hard at this. This was nearly 2 years worth of work to get this deck and book together. And I think well, for me, you can feel it. So the keywords are very thought-provoking, and then what she's written about them, and then the different types of spreads that you've got in here. Now, one of them is you can do like your name spread, which I would do, but there aren't enough letters in there for me to do Antoinette. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do then with that, whether I substitute a letter for a number. For instance, I need 3 E's. So I don't know if I substitute, so if I look at what the E's are, whether I substitute an E for a number 5 and do it that way. But yeah. So you've got your blueprint spreads, synchronicities, your code, yeah, so your code name, that's where you need your enough letters for your name. So that's just one thing that I'm thinking of doing. And then your numerical meanings. And if we look at the matrix card, so we have the number 4, Pythagorean 1, refers to within these pages in the magical system that we live within. It is the reality that we experience. I cannot tell you whether this is a computer simulation, that of a movie, the Matrix, but it is a simulation nonetheless. I believe that we as a mass consciousness have created this matrix for us to incarnate into. It is made up of a magical system which gives us each the ability to write our own stories while we are here. And now I've lost my spot. We must have a clear intention, passion and emotion to fuel it, and a clear action to send it out into the world. Our belief must be powerful within ourselves, and we must make the right choices along the way to facilitate what we have set in motion. Because we live within a dualistic reality, there is always 2 or more sides to every story. As a mass consciousness, we create the narrative that our matrix runs on. It is why it's so important to share love, kindness and positivity into the world, as this frequency is passed on from soul to soul. It can rewrite the current narrative of this simulation. Those who are in power direct our focus, whereas to areas that keep them in control of the current world narrative. This is done with fear-mongering, politics, social media and divination. If you receive this card today, you are being asked to look at the stories that you are writing for your life. Is your story exactly the way you want it to be? Is the world exactly the way you would want it to be? If you are a fabulous magical co-creator, if not, what would you change and why? Below, we've included a spread to help you answer these questions, important questions that can help you shift your perspective and perhaps your reality. So then we have the matrix spread here. So we could just quickly do that. But bear in mind, I'm leaving those out. So, what is the current narrative of my story? Where do I put my focus in life? How does this benefit my life? How does this disrupt my life? What should I do with the information? And where can I show more love, kindness and positivity in my life? So I'm just going to take them from the top this time, which is not how I normally do my spreads, but as this is just for yourselves. So the first one, I want the bottom card. I want one of those. It's that one. My fingers have been going to the bottom of the decks lately. I want that one. And I want that one. So I've got 2 more. It's there. I want that one. I want that one. So I'm not going to go too much in depth into the book with them, but the narrative of my story is unification. My focus in life is tradition and organised. I wish, but yes, tradition, yes. I would love to be organised if I could. How does this benefit my life? Oathbreaker. Unification, tradition, organised, oathbreaker. Perhaps by being organised, it helps me to break oaths. But what oaths are we breaking? We'll quickly look that up. Brings that song to mind. Why do we need oath breakers? An oath can be a solemn promise, even often invoking a divine witness regarding one's future action or behaviour. Have you taken an oath to spend the rest of your life with someone to find out later that it wasn't the right thing for you to do? Did you make an oath to someone or something in a previous life? Did your ancestors create an oath that turned into a family curse? Have you bound your magical abilities in a previous life because your religion filled you with too much fear? Is this book of secrets, the oath breaker, is someone who has chosen to no longer be bound by something or someone that no longer served in the highest good? Okay, that was where I was starting to go. My brain was starting to go to the past life bindings that I personally believe I have imposed upon myself through exactly what that just said. One, it's in my hands, it's on my palms, and two, it's in my past life readings. So I think that's what it is. So the unification is probably unification of self, the tradition, and being organised, learning to get around what, influences me and how, in order to be the oath breaker this time round rather than the oath maker, I suppose. Mystical. How does this disrupt my life? Mystical. Nobody knows, do they? Mystical and magical. The definitions have spiritual meaning or reality that is neither apparent to the senses nor obvious to the intelligence. Yeah, that is how it disrupts my life. I can't see it, it's not tangible, I can't touch it, I can't explain it. You either know or you don't, right? If you know, you know, you don't, you don't. That, yeah. What should I do with that information? Past life. There it is. Should have just read the cards, shouldn't I? Past life. It's the past life information that I'm sorting out. Where could I show more love, kindness, and positivity in my life? Victory. Okay, yeah. So I'm a sore loser and a sore winner, I suppose. I get put down so much in so many places of work, life, demand from others. I don't think put down is the right word, but I don't feel acknowledged always or appreciated. It's an expectation, it's a duty. I feel like I'm duty bound to do these things and that no one actually understands how much effort it can take sometimes to do them. And the victory is bittersweet, so to say. So I wouldn't say it's measured in worldly success, but overcoming obstacles or reaching milestones that seem impossible for me. But the karmic loops, transcending fear or awakening to the truth of who they are beyond the programming of this reality. Victory is not about conquering others, but about liberating myself. It is escaping the weight of illusion. So maybe the victory of oath-breaking the past life issues that abound through the mystical organisations and traditions and unification. Well, right, okay. That is unplanned kind of semi-walkthrough of the Book of Secrets. Highly recommend this deck, if you hadn't already guessed. Let's see what else came in. Okay, deck number 2 that came in last month was the Echoes of the Innerchild from Carla Lancaster, aka Miss Coolala's Mystical Musings. And this deck is amazing. And she's very kindly sent me her copy of the pre-sale book. So this is a very special thing for me to personally have received. And I'm really grateful for her to do that, because I was going to buy the Kindle version because it's available on Kindle. So you can get it on Kindle or, ebook so you can read it. And that's what I was going to do. I was going to buy that version so I could just carry it around in my pocket with the deck. But she very sweetly sent me this one here to say thank you for being one of the first to purchase her deck, and because we are friends behind the scenes anyways. So I've got my thank you message from her there. And this book talks about all the cards. Again, it's quite in depth. It's got coloured pages in this as well. So it is a shadow work type oracle. And she felt when we were talking, because she wasn't sure how I would be using a deck like this, because she felt it may be specific usage for someone. But actually, when I looked at the cards and the words in here, I could see how these would shadow work into my life and, you know, my situation growing up quite easily. So introduction. So this one just talks about the hidden parts of yourself, compassion, courage and truth. Shadow work is a process of exploring the aspects of ourselves that we often bury, ignore and deny. These are the wounds we carry, the patterns we repeat, and the childlike parts of us still longing to be seen. By bringing them into the light of awareness, we reclaim power, wholeness and freedom. The deck is divided into 4 categories. So you have the wounds, and they are signified by the little sigils on them, the echoes, the inner child, and the healing path. Each card offers keywords and a quick insight description to deepen your understanding and healing prompts for reflection, journaling, and meditation. So this is to guide us. This is not to replace professional help. So if this is triggering in any way, you know, it may be that this isn't what you need right at this point in time, and you know, you need to be the adult in your life, and you need to decide that you go and seek the help that you need, because it might not be in these cards, and we are all different, so nobody knows how each one will react to something like this, or you know, how it might trigger us. It very kindly does how to use the deck. You have a daily spread, a journaling companion, spreads, rituals, meditation, remembering and dedication. So the book is dedicated to her sister, who is actually amethystascension, Rochelle, and she's given her help with creating the book and everything and the layouts, but the work inside is Carla's. So we have a page telling us about the wounds. So the wounds are the root wounds that shape our identity. They represent the cracks in our foundations of self, where the light of awareness now enters. The sigil is a broken circle, fracture, origin point, entry into shadow. Category meaning. The wound represents the original fractures of the soul, the moments, patterns, or experiences that left lasting marks on your sense of self. They are the roots from which many shadows grow. The broken circle sigil reminds us that every wound begins with a break, but also that light enters through the cracks. To face these cards is to honour your origin stories, not to relive your pain, but to reclaim the strength hidden within. So it's definitely about uniting your shadow. So you can see you have a full colour page and a description for the card. So let's just do this one, and then I'll flip through more of the cards. So we have emotional neglect description. The wound is born when your feelings were dismissed, ignored, or minimised. The message absorbed was your emotions are too much with not enough. As an adult, you may struggle with self-worth, struggle to ask for help, or hide your true feelings behind a mask. Keywords: invisibility, silenced, unacknowledged needs, feelings dismissed, minimised, or ignored, adult disconnection from needs and emotions. Healing prompts: what emotions do I tend to push away? How do I dismiss my own needs today? And what would it feel like to let my feelings matter? And there's a little affirmation. I honour my feelings and give myself the care I once needed. So that's just something to carry with you as you move through your day. So it goes through each one in the same way. Yeah. Then we get to the echoes. So we have our sigil for the echoes. I can't remember how many cards are in each, but I think there's 36 in one section. Might be the echoes, I've got 36. The inner child, so you have your moon and star. So reclaiming. There's some beautiful cards in here. And then you have the healing path with the sun mandala type sigil. And it comes all the way through. So it's beautifully done, guidebook prompts and things from Carla. So highly recommend. So if you're going to get the deck, I do recommend you having the books to go with, but whether you want the digital version or a hard copy, that's entirely up to you really, isn't it? But these are from Amazon, and so both books, this one and the Book of Secrets for the Matrix deck, are from Amazon. This one's slightly bigger than this one, but yeah, both Amazon purchasable. This one is digital format on Kindle, which you can purchase on Amazon. This one, I believe, digital format you can purchase through Kofi, through Amethystascension's Kofi page. So that's that. So the cards in the deck, those are the backs. going to go over the hour. I'm sorry. There's a lot. So I think there's definitely a lot in here that, you know, I can relate to as a adult, just from the ways in which I've been brought up. And many of those cards are also in my adulting life as well. Aren't they beautiful? The inner child for play. Ancestral healing. Yeah, there are just honestly so many beautiful keywords. And the images, to me, they do evoke the feelings of some of these keywords. I mean, that one's just so sad, isn't it? So sorry, I'm not sure. I might have shuffled these. They're definitely not in order. So there you go. The Echoes of the Inner Child by Carla Lancaster. So the Kickstarter finally arrived, the Orakulum Oracle. Yay! So this is curious insights into your subconscious mind. I love this marbled effect. I wish the backs of the cards were this colour, but never mind. Inside it says you are magic, and the bottom of the box has the hand in there. And here we have the Orakulum was thoughtfully crafted by Anna Voitas in the Catskill Mountains, New York. To learn more about Anna's work, visit, what does that say? ohenhealing.com, OHENHEALING. It's not a word I'm familiar with, sorry. But I think that's how it's spelled. Comes with a guidebook. Guidebook just has 3 keywords which are on the cards, the main keyword of the card, and then a little write-up about each one. So it's a nice basic book. About all you need really, isn't it? And it tells us about journaling after reading, intuition, interpretations, shuffling the deck, how to use your deck, and then there's a little, I know the voice of the oracle and my feet know the way to the shrine. I've seen the heavens dance before me and the stars of my destiny shine. The prophet, she whispers a secret, she speaks in riddles and signs, but I like the child of the wind, feel the answer deep within my spine. The Oracle by Edna St. Vincent Millay. It came with a sticker, so I have a little holographic sticker, which is actually the Metamorphosis card. I love Metamorphosis. Sign, symbol, everything. So it's not edged. It's got this on the backs. It's a lovely dark deck. So you can see we have Metamorphosis with self-actualization, development, and reinvention. So there is a little bit of nudity in here, actually. So if I do this, because I think we've all heard what YouTube's doing these days. So the wound, the vessel, animus, evolve, nectar. Oh, I had to drop my cards in. Breakthrough, ritual, fate, witness. Oh, lots of witnesses. What have we got here? Initiation, temple, slow, sovereignty. It's just lovely kind of, I think this will go beautifully with the ritual tarot. Gnosis. Offering. Nurture. So I think you get the general gist. Just that there are very classical painting styles in this. It's a collage style deck, isn't it? So yes, so we have that one. So I'm very pleased that one finally arrived. I've backed that one. I can't remember how long ago now. Momento Mori arrived, not the one that is from Claire Goodchild. So this one is a Red Wheel Publishing deck. It comes in this like weird matchbox style. I've taken the base out because there's a fake base in this. I've turned it around and poked it up so it's now stuck in there, and then the extra cards, some of the extra cards basically stuck down there with it, because you get 3 cards that come with. 2 of them are stuck down there, so don't have to worry about them. So it's a really cute little pocket deck, right up my alley. So it's so fun, beautiful. I love that card, it's just so beautiful. So yeah, it's not a very expensive deck, this one, so it's mass market. Fabulous, fun pocket oracle. It'll go with most things actually. And I should imagine this will pair with a load of my Patrick Lenser decks too. Trust your familiar. There you go. The universe goes on. Momento Mori. Have that one. This one I've been waiting a long time to get my hands on. Basically, I had to wait for my friend to go home to pick it up for me to Germany. So it's a Swedish deck. I can't remember off the top of my head now what it means. I did know, but it's the SOTW Tarot. It's numbered 1 through to 78 at the top, and it has, I'm guessing, Swedish, and then you've got the English at the bottom. But I love the art, the colours. It's very cardboard feel, so it's not particularly fabulous cardstock. That's the backs, and you can tell that the borders aren't 100% even either. But aside from that, it reminds me of the Anaturian lenormand that I have. Claire de Lune, Marie de Lune, that one. Do you know why? Once I say it wrong once, I can never get it right again. I will always say the wrong one and the right one, and probably in this case none of them are right because I've got it so mixed up in my head now. But yeah, I really like this one. So this one is in my December library practice with Momento Mori at the moment. So got that one. Obviously the guidebook that comes with this is in Swedish, there's no English in there, and the deck is too big for the box. Literally, it's like 2 cards too fat for the box. You can tell there, like, how on earth does that fit back in there? With a fight, let me tell you. And the other one I got is the Roig Tarot. So this kit is very weird. Very weird indeed, look at that. And it's in Spanish, in case you're wondering, because we can't get it in English, and I'm not paying £150 for an English version if I can get this for £30. I'd much rather use Google Lens, thank you very much. That's just being right, what's it? But yeah, I just don't understand how people can charge that for a deck, just because it's not in English anymore. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you have a smartphone, a Google Lens, go and buy it in another language and have more fun with it. Because, you know, Marseille comes in French and Spanish and Italian languages anyway, that's not really too much of an issue if you know your numberings on your cards and things. So I haven't taken it out of order because I haven't shuffled to use this one yet. I was going to shuffle it up the other day actually, but I haven't. So we have our Fool. So the cardstock is better than the other one. It's very glossy. That's the backs. Magician. I can't remember if there's nudity in this or not. But so our Lovers. Chariot. Hermit. Justice for 11. Hanged One. Sorry, 12. Justice. No, 11. What am I doing? Yeah, 11. 11 and 8. Excuse me. Death. There's our Star. Moon. Stun. Judgment. And the World. And then it's a pip deck as far as this bit goes. And from a Thoth version, it has the keywords in there as well. So Ace of Wands, Dominion, Virtue, Culmination. So yeah, these could easily be written above again in English or at the bottom in English. And sometimes there's like other bits of collaging in the bottoms that might be relevant. So yeah, got this one. So that's all the decks that came in. Well, I think that's enough really, isn't it, for decks? And the other thing is, this is on walkthrough, so I'm not going to spend too much time here, but it is the new version diary and the wall calendar from FlickeringCauldron. So the 2026 version, it's massive. It's got an extra 60 something pages in it. So the spiral is bigger than previously. There's just so many more pages. It's completely different layout. Not completely different, actually. Not completely different, but it's got extra information in it this year. And the wall calendar is beautiful as always, with the usual information inside. The moon diary has... so you have all your normal planetary aspects and things in there, but then you have your... are these also aspects? So you have your trines, squares, sextiles, and you also have it for each month. Where's January start? Exactly. Here. So this is standard. We know this bit. This is new. So the planetary aspects and the timing charts here for the conjunction, the opposition, the square, the trine, and the sextile. You have your witchy wisdom for Capricorn. An introduction to ancient witchy remedies here. We have mugwort tea for January to make, so there's a few more pages at the front. Then you have your standard layout, your full moon, wolf moon. So this bit you'll all be very familiar with. We have 2 pages now for the new moon and the tarot card. Then we keep going as we normally would. History for pre-Christian witchcraft here in Britain. So some information, ancient ritual for protection before Christ, BC, and new moon wishes and desires, full moon spells. Your budget page as normal, and your notes page as I normally do, which is where I write my deck wishes, wants, dreams, desires, hopes, significance, and things. So yeah, right then. That's enough, isn't it? I think I have totally taken up all of your time. I hope you've made it this far. If you have, please drop some comments down below or give me at least a Christmas tree and a sunshine or a sunflower emoji. I'd be most appreciative. Until the next one, take care. Bye.